Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of ASP.NET MVC series. This is continuation to part 1, so please watch part 1 before proceeding. So this is database first approach, and in this video we will try to learn how to send data from controller to views, the different methods that we can use to send data from controller to a view, and in addition we will also try to learn why we need views. So let me show you by example. So let me flip to Visual Studio. So this is the example that we were working in previous video. Let me comment this action method, and let me again make an action method with the same name. Let me copy that, change it back to index. Let me rerun the project. So now index section method does not need any parameters, because we have commented that action method and we have made a new index section method that do not need any kind of parameter. So let me do something like I want to return a string. String, and we should return a string from here. We want this string to output as heading 1. So if I return string something like this will be a plain text without any kind of heading tags. So I want to make you understand why we use views. Before that, let me do this without using views. So here we know that this action method is not using any kind of view. It is just showing this string as a plain text. So what if I want to enclose in a heading 1 tag? So I have enclosed this in a heading 1 tag, and now if I rerun it, now you can see that this is in heading 1 and this was the previous output. So this is one thing, guys. If our purpose is just to display the string like this in a single line, this is okay. We can use this kind of method to return a string as a tag, but this is not a good practice. You should use views for such kind of things, because this is an HTML tag. So you should do something like in views, so that you can separate the your application in model, views and controllers. The part of views should be done in a view, and the part of controller action method should be done in controller action method, and the part for which models are designed, they should do that task. So we do not want to do this task using action methods. So we want to convert this action method into a view, and we want to pass this string to a view, and then we ask the view to apply heading 1 on this string. I repeat, I want to pass this string to a view, and then it will be the responsibility of that view to apply this heading 1 tag on that string. So now let me flip back to the slides, and now we have learned why we use views. And if you want to learn more on what are the theories behind the views, you can you can study it from Microsoft Developer Network MSDN site. There is a lot of content over there, the theories behind why we introduced views, but I have explained you with an example why we need them. Now we have to send data from controller to view, so that the view can apply heading 1, heading 2, a bold tag, underline tag, or anything else on that content. So we have different methods to send data from controller to a view, and the methods are ViewBag, ViewData, TempData, models, view models. Also you can use cookies and sessions to send data from controller to view. For now, let me explain some of them. Like let me show you how to send data from controller to view using ViewBag, ViewData, and TempData. So let's flip back to Visual Studio, and now we want to send data from controller to view. Now we do not want any kind of string to be returned. We want to return a view, so we change it back to action result, because now we want to return a view. Let me copy this string. I have copied this string, and let me return a view, and here I declare a ViewBag object, and its property name should be anything you want. Let me name it as my string is equal to, and I paste that string over here. And now notice that we are not embedding that heading 1 tag inside it, so we are just passing the string to this ViewBag object, and this ViewBag object is a dynamic object, and you can store anything in this object. The property name syntax is that you put the keyword ViewBag, and then you put dot, and then you write the name of that property over here. This can be anything you want. This is just a variable name or the property name, so you can reuse this string over the view. So if I run this over here, and you will see the output. So this is the default output that is being set by MVC as by default. So let me go to this view, and let me delete all the output that is being shown here, and we just want that string to be formatted over here as heading 1. So let me delete all the content from this view, and let me rerun, save it, and refresh the page. So now you can see that there is nothing here, and now how to use this ViewBag variable on the view. So one thing should be clear here, that if you are using this ViewBag.myString over here, you can only access this variable on its respective view. So what is the respective view of this action result? That is index, that is this view. So to reuse that variable over here, the good practice is to copy that, so that we do not miss the spellings, we do not make errors on spellings. So let me go back to view, and to reuse that variable, I paste that ViewBag.myString over here. And because this is C#, because if I rerun it over here, you will see something like ViewBag.myString, but we want to retrieve the value inside that. Guys, this is the razor syntax, because in this form the razor is understanding this is a plain string. So to convey our attention that this is not a plain string, but this is our ViewBag variable, we have to use the @ special symbol before this, so that at ViewBag dot my string. Now MVC knows, the Razor view engine knows that this is no more a plain string, this is a ViewBag variable, and I have to fetch the value from it. So if I save it and if I refresh it, now you can see that we have got our string to the view. But now next thing is, we should apply heading 1 around this string. So for that, let me enclose it. Sorry, we want this to be enclosed in heading 1. So save it, rerun it, refresh. It is not working. I rerun it. Oh sorry, we are not passing h1 over here, that is the mistake. Let me rerun it. So guys, this is how we can format our string by sending from an action method to its respective view. I again repeat the things. We just used this ViewBag variable, and its name is my string, and my string is, and this contains this string inside this property. And to reuse it, we go to index and we enclose the string inside heading 1, and we use @ sign to convey our attention that this is not a plain string, this is a variable and this is an object, and by using that object we are retrieving this string, and we have applied heading 1 on that. So it is not a good practice to use ViewBag, ViewData, TempData for sending data from a controller to view, because they do not provide compile time error checking. This is because, guys, let me change the string name to ViewBag property name to my string 1, and if I rerun it, you will see something like error message. So if you are not finding any error message, you will not find any kind of output over here. What is that? Because basically the Razor view engine tries to find the ViewBag with property name my string 1 inside it. So as we know that we have not declared any ViewBag with my string 1 property name variable, so you cannot reuse it over here. But look at that, if you are writing it over here the wrong name of the property here, you are not getting any kind of compile time error checking. If you build the project, it will say that the build succeeded. You can see in the status bar build succeeded, but if we run the project, it is not showing any kind of output, because this is not a compile time error checking method. So if I change back to my string, and now you can see that you will find the output over here. So it is not programmer friendly kind of syntax. So we use ViewBag variables, but in not in abundance. We use it rarely, and we use view models and models for sending data from controller to view, because they provide the compile time error checking. We will try to cover these concepts in this video, otherwise we will make a new video on these concepts. So far, if you are tired up, you should have some rest over here, do something interesting, listen to some music or something else, and that may make you feel better. And when you are relaxed, please come back and start from here. Okay, hope so you are relaxed now, and let's move on. And the next method is to send data from controller to view is view data. So we can also use view data to send data from a controller to view. So there is not a much difference, the things are almost same. Let me copy paste this. The only difference is that you just put here view data, and the view data gets or sets the dictionary of view data. Let me view data dot the only difference to declare the variable, to declare the object, is that you just pass the property name inside the double quotes inside these braces. So the only difference is that. So to write the property name, you put double quotes, and inside that you write the property name. So let me write the property name as demo view data. So again I copy this view data and its property name, and the lifetime of view data is same as of ViewBag, and we want to change the string as we want this view data string to output as heading, let me say 2. So now let's go to view, and we use heading 2 over here, and we put @ sign to convey our attention that we are going to switch to C# mode, and we want to use some variable or object name here. So I pasted that copied view data dot demo variable name over here, and let me run the project here. So let's see what's going on. So you can see that we have retrieved this heading, we have retrieved this string using view data, and this is almost similar to ViewBag, but the only difference is how we write the property name. So this was how we can send data from controller to view using view data. And next one is temp data, and the lifetime of temp data is a bit more than that of ViewBag and view data. In future we will explain how that lifetime is greater, but for now let me show you how we can use temp data to send data from a controller to view. This is much more similar with the view data. The only difference is that you put here temp data and demo temp data property, and we are sending this string as temp data. To reuse this string, we again copy the property name of this object, and we just use heading 3 here. To convey our attention, we are going to switch to C# mode. We put @ sign here, and we pasted that property over here. So I rerun the project. So guys, you can see that we have successfully retrieved data in a view using temp data. The lifetime will be discussed in later video session. For now you have learned 3 ways to send data from controller to view and the syntax of that, and they do not provide any kind of compile time error checking. Let me show you by changing the property name over here, and we know that we do not we have not declared this variable. If I rerun the project, and the heading 3 will be omitted over here. So if I change it back to demo td, now you can see the output is displaying as we expected. So this is the temp data output. So far we have learned the 3 methods to send data from a controller to view. So if you are tired up, you can have some rest. You can, if you are if you have some kind of confusion, you can pause the video. You can again watch the video and have some kind of understanding, and then you can come back and start from here. Before we proceed, I want to explain something like we can store any kind of data inside these objects. We are just, for now we are saving only strings, but you can save anything in it. Like if I save here something, a big number or a floating number, you can also retrieve it on the view. So if you write something like any kind of number, you can retrieve it from that object. So to make that you people understand, I have saved this floating number inside that object, and you can save anything in it. Like you can also okay guys, now let's try to know how could we send data from a controller to a view using models. So let me add a new model. So to add a new model class, we right click on models folder and we add a class, and you can name anything to your class. Let me name it as student class. So inside that I declare some properties like student ID. Let me say public int ID, or you may say student ID, but in practice we use ID as the name of the ID. These are auto implemented properties that represent our student attributes. So let me copy and paste these properties like so, and for name let me change it to string, name of the student, string mobile, so we have these 4 properties over here, and we want to send data from controller to view using this model class. Whenever you add a new class, you should build your project to build your solution so that all the information is should be disseminated in all the things. So let me go to student controller. You can reuse this model class in any controller you want, but let me check how this demo action method is working. So let me run the project and let me check how the student/demo project is demo URL is working. So far student/demo has got this kind of output. Now we want something like we want to send data from this action method to its respective view, which is inside this folder, that demo view, and So this is the view we want to send some data from this demo controller. So let me declare a student object, but the class name is student, but we have not added the namespace of this class in this controller. So using demo first models dot models, and we name this object as student is equal to new student. Let me initialize this object like so. We can also initialize this object like student dot id is equal to 123, student dot name is equal to Yasir, and student dot gender is equal to male, and student dot mobile is equal to so this is the syntax we can initialize an object, but the other syntax is also something like this. You can initialize when you are declaring this object. So you pass name is equal to but we are not using this syntax, we have already declared it like so. So it's up to you, whatever syntax you like you can do it. So let me pass this object to this view. So this is the method of how we can send data from controller to view. We have populated this object with this information of the student, and then we are passing this object to the view. But in previous methods we do not pass data from controller to view like so. We did not pass ViewBag object over here, ViewData object over here, or TempData object over here. But in this method we must pass that object inside that view. So you are passing this object to this view. Let me again add the view for it. So add view, we want to add demo as a view, and we want now we want template. So we want empty template, and now we can select model class, and model class is students, that is present here, and we want to add a file with name demo already exists. This view already exists, we want to recreate it. So we have recreated this view. Now if I go to demo.cshtml, you will see something different inside that view. So we have to reuse this student object over there. So this is how this at model demo first dot models dot student is getting that output inside it. So this is the heading of the page. Let me change it to student details, and change it over here as well. Now we want to retrieve that information over here. We want to fetch this student object, and we want to retrieve this information over the view. So to reuse that, to fetch that information over here, we have a special object whose name is at capital M. I repeat, this object name is starting from capital M, model dot, you can see here you have got gender inside it, you have got ID inside it, you have got mobile inside it, and you have got name inside it. So you can retrieve the information by using this add model object over here. But if you are missing this line of code, you will not find this one. So if I comment this, I have commented this. Now if I write at model dot, you can see that there is no IntelliSense over here. So if I remove the comment and if I again put dot over here, you can see the output over here. So if I write here model dot id and I copy paste it, three times, and next is model dot name and model dot gender, model dot mobile. So if I run the project over here, if you are on a view and you run the project, you are by default redirecting to that specific URL, student/demo. Now you can see that we have got our output over here, but this is not properly formatted. To format it, you can use heading or anything, like you can say the ID here, label ID is, if I rerun it, ID is, the label tag is being used over here, and then you want to enclose it in a bold tag or something, like you can do it. But let me place an HTML break here and let me format the output something more meaningful. This is name. After that we want an HTML break, then we want another label over here, and this is gender, and HTML break over here, and again label, and this is mobile. Okay, so if I rerun the project, you will see the output will be formatted. So output is a bit more formatted over here. The student details are displayed over here. So models provide compile time error checking. So to make you people understand that how models provide compile time error checking, let me change this ID to ID to student ID or something like that. And we know that there is no property inside our student class with this student ID property name. We have just ID over here, but we are writing here student ID, and you are seeing that we have got compile time error checking. This is making it underline as red line. If I build the solution, you can if I run the project, you will find some error, and again you could see that this is getting red line over here, that there is some error. This is not a property. So you should read the error. Student does not contain a definition for student ID, and no accessible extension method student ID accepting a first argument of type student could be found. Are you missing using directive or an assembly reference? So this is technically true. So let me again change it back to ID, so there is no error here. So if I rerun the project, you can see the output is properly formatted, and we have learned how to send data from controller to view using models. And in future we may retrieve this information from a database table, but for now we are hard coding the information like so, and we are passing that object over here. Let me show you one thing. If I do not pass the student object inside view, and if I save it and if I rerun the project, you will find some kind of error, and that error will be technically true because we are populating the student object, but we are not passing that object to our view for rendering. So whenever you are going to reuse that information on a view, on the very first line where you wrote model.id, now it is trying to fetch that information from that object, but the object reference not set to an instance of an object. So that is technically true because we are not passing that model object over here. If I change it to now we are passing that student object over here, and if I rerun the project over here, you will see we will not find that error anymore. Boom, we have found that. Okay guys, this is how we could send data from controller to a view. We have learned different methods to send data from controller to view. The first one was ViewBag, ViewData, TempData models, and in next video sessions we will discuss what are view models, and they also provide compile time error checking. But for now we have understood why we use views and what are the methods that we can use to send data from controller to view. And this might be your interview question, that why we prefer models or view models over ViewBag, ViewData and TempData. And the reason I have already explained you people that ViewBag, ViewData and TempData are not strongly typed. In other words, they do not pass, they do not have compile time error checking, and models and view models have got compile time error checking. So that is the reason that we use models, view models to send data from controller to view. And their lifetime is also regarding the lifetime, it's not a big difference, but regarding the error checking, they are much more suitable to be used, and they are much more suitable for the programmers. Okay guys, so this was also a yummy, spicy and delicious tutorial, I think so. So see you in the next video. So till then, have a great time.